What makes a game impactful? That is the question I have for you all today. What was the last time you played a game you were mind blown by a game's mechanics or gameplay? Or completely captivated by a game's world and characters? Or caught yourself just sitting and listening to a game's OST? Okay, it was probably Elden Ring, but besides that, jokes aside, let's break down those favorite games. From a gameplay standpoint, I need the golden triangle of feel, sound, and display. When playing a game, this is something that you kind of take note of almost instantly. When you first are able to take control of your character, the first thing you do is move around and get a feel for how your character moves, how fast they move, do they jump, if so how high, are they able to mantle, do they sprint, is there an evasion or block mechanic? All these questions you really answer by yourself without even a second thought. Unless you don't do anything until the game tells you like a robot, then you might be a little weird. Obviously every genre will be a little different in regards to this, but you get the general idea. In FPS games, one of the most important components is the gunplay. Depending on what type of game the devs are going for, they must make the gunplay match it. When I'm playing Call of Duty, I don't expect the same movement and gunplay from Escape from Tarkov. For Call of Duty, I'm expecting fast-paced, arcade-like gameplay where I'm able to slide and bunny hop around corners, spawn trap people, shoot guns with damn near zero recoil, and overall just feel like a super soldier. In Escape from Tarkov, it's the opposite. It's not going to be the same fast-paced gameplay that you would get from COD. Instead, the pace of the game slows down immensely. Your character feels like they are actually wearing heavy armor and wielding heavy weaponry. The items feel like they have some weight to it. They move slow. The recoil is nowhere near as forgiving as Call of Duty or other games. Enemies are not outlined by red, nor have player names or icons above them to help you identify. And neither do your teammates. You are constantly knocking at death's door every gunfight you get in, because one fatal shot and your run is over, and there's no automatic regen of your health, and it's set to be more of a realistic tone with way more intense moment-to-moment gameplay. Gaming is pretty special, as for things like shows or movies, they don't allow you to directly impact anything happening on the screen, so they don't have the same quote-unquote feel element like games do. So this makes the sound and display that they have so much more important. My favorite examples of sound display come from abilities in anime. Let me show you an example. To give you a bit of context, Benimaru has been fighting that demon for quite a while and used some of his most powerful attacks to try to kill this thing, but has no luck whatsoever. So he pulls out what would you assume to be his strongest move, which causes that bass boost like sound and evaporates the demon, along with making the sky damn near red afterwards. This scene shows just how powerful this guy is and how powerful the demons are beautifully. The scene was perfect. Now, you may be asking, how did this relate to gaming? Well, like I said earlier, there's that golden triangle for me. We really only discussed one of those points of that triangle so far. Sound and display are the other two parts of this triangle. Keeping on the same topic of abilities, have you ever played a game and the moves look cool, but maybe the sounds were kind of wonky, or maybe the sound design was pretty good, but the animation just wasn't quite there yet, or maybe you even used the ability and it was underwhelmed because of the damage or the visual feedback from doing it. If you played an indie game before, you for sure know what I'm talking about. This is insanely important for things like ultimate moves. One of my absolute favorite ultimate moves are in the Final Fantasy series, which I think is a very good example of these things working very well together. In Final Fantasy, their ultimate moves are essentially limit breaks or summons. They aren't something that you have available to you with every single encounter, and when available, they can turn a fight in your favor almost instantly. Which brings me to Final Fantasy XIV. In Final Fantasy XIV, there are limit breaks that are exclusive to each class, which are level 3 limit breaks. Each one has a different animation and does some different things depending on what class you are playing. I still remember my first time playing Black Mage and using my level 3 limit break. My character standing and raising their staff in the air during the cast, slamming it into the ground and spreading their arms, and then a meteor cracks through the sky and crashed down to the boss, spewing debris everywhere. The animation was beautifully done, and it truly felt like a crazy move that didn't scale to any other move that I had used in the game at that point. And I think it fits into the golden triangle perfectly. Let's scale it down a bit from even an ability scale. Let's take it down to the moment-to-moment gameplay. I would like to use the Soul games as an example for this. In particular, let's talk about Elden Ring since it was the most recent one. In that game, I actually feel the same way as the Final Fantasy XIV example, but instead for the bosses. The bosses in this game are all a spectacle. From their designs to their moveset and abilities, the devastating sounds that put an emphasis on just how powerful the enemies are from all their hits, and man, the soundtrack. That's gonna be all from me today, man. I know there's plenty of things that I didn't touch on, like for example in racing games, how they add like a little bit of blur to the screen, and there's like the little lines that can kind of indicate your speed or give the illusion of speed. Or for example in games like a rage mechanic, how your screen changes to give you some type of visual feedback or whatever, like, you know, little things like that. I know I wanted this video to be a short one. If there's anything that you guys fit into your own personal golden triangle, please continue the conversation down in the comments below. And yeah, you enjoyed, I'd appreciate a sub, and you guys have a good one.